So I just wanted to ask, how long did you wait before deciding to come see me, before making the decision?
To come see you?
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of a hard question to answer because I was already seeing somebody else.
Okay, we'll talk about that one then.
It took me 4 months to
4 months.
find a myofascial release therapist.
Okay.
It took 4 months of trying everything else before I was sent to a myofascial release therapist. I didn't know what it was before then.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only therapy I did once I started that.
Okay. And then, as I recall, was there 4 months from what point?
4 months from what point? 4 months from 4 months from the time, what my family refers to. I essentially lost my life. Headaches, dizziness, muscle pain. I couldn't do much of anything. 4 months from that point.
How long had that been?
That'd probably been building for a while. Looking back, I can see it had probably been building for, I don't know, a couple of years.
So when you finally took a move, when you finally took action, what got you to that point?
It was the headache. Well, it was a headache that wasn't like any other headache. That I was dizzy when I would walk. I was dizzy when I would move. And the longer that headache went on, I started to just get muscle tension and tightness, and I came close to blacking out a couple of times. 10 days of that, and I knew that wasn't normal.
Enough of that. Once fine, no problem.
The headache
Twice,
that
hey,
didn't go
might
away.
forget about it.
Yeah, I knew that wasn't normal. So, yeah.
Okay.
That.
So what made you wait that long for all of these things? I mean, was there an obstacle? Time, cost, fear, uncertainty? I mean,
No. My mom's in the medical profession, and I know if you go to the doctor for a headache, they don't really do anything, or they ask you how long have you had the headache and what have you done for the headache. And so I knew after 10 days of tracking something that just escalated and got worse, that Tylenol didn't touch it, and Advil didn't touch it, and rest didn't touch it, and ice, and nothing made a difference. So I knew after 10 days of getting worse, it wasn't just a headache. So I figured maybe they'd listen then.
maybe they. Hopefully, did they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what did they tell you?
They told me it was tension headaches, and they did some X-rays and said I had my cervical spine was out of alignment. Gave me muscle relaxants and some painkillers and some steroids for inflammation, and sent me to physical therapy.
How well did that work?
It didn't. I think he probably got my neck straightened out as much as he could, but the painkillers didn't touch. Nothing touched the headache. The muscle relaxants made me more dizzy. So I was back in the doctor's office 3 weeks later when the physical therapist had done what he could do, and wasn't walking really well. It hurt to walk. It hurt to move. It hurt. So at that point, she sent me to a neurologist. It took a while to get in to see him. She sent me for an MRI before that. I didn't know until I saw the report on the MRI. She was looking for a brain tumor or an aneurysm, something that would explain that sudden onset of a headache that shouldn't have been there. The neurologist said there wasn't anything he could do. Had a couple of disc protrusions, but didn't have nerve damage, didn't have nothing he could do. So I was back in the doctor's office again, another 3 or 4 weeks later. And she tried a different muscle relaxant. Nothing really helped. I was in there pretty much every month between November and February. I saw a chiropractor. I tried acupuncture. Nothing helped.
Okay.
So.
And then at some point, somebody finally said, try myofascial release.
Well, I went back in February. Same doctor. She's seen me now for several months, and I'm not any better. She says that when I walk in, you're not any better. And she pretty much said, I don't know what else to tell you. Maybe you should try myofascial release. I don't think she thought it'd help. I really don't. And I wish wish she would have sent me there first. Because that's the only thing they did.
Okay.
So.
And then it took you a little while to find somebody because unfortunately there's not many of us.
There aren't.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you've already talked about what the problem was, how bad it was. What were you missing out on? What was it stopping you from being able to do?
Everything.
Everything.
Everything. That happened right before, well, it was Halloween. I know what weekend it was. It was Halloween weekend. Because I was in the doctor's office on Monday, and it was Halloween. So it was right before the holidays. We weren't sure we were having Thanksgiving that year. I was laying on the couch, pretty much not sleeping, not moving, not eating, not talking. I tried not to move. So we weren't sure we were having Thanksgiving. We weren't sure we were having Christmas. Valentine's Day was kind of lousy. New Year's wasn't really great. Everything. I was homeschooling my kids at the time, and yeah, I wasn't doing that then either. People would come get my kids in the morning and bring them back in the afternoon, and I literally would have no idea where they went. No idea, except someone was taking care of them.
Wow.
Because I couldn't. Yeah.
So when you say your life stopped, it really had.
Literally stopped.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So just say a little bit more about what else had you tried? Was there anything that's been left out? You mentioned chiropractic, PT.
Tried massage, tried acupressure, acupuncture. Acupuncture was awful. Wore a neck collar, neck brace for a while. That pretty much is it.
Yeah.
That's all we knew to try.
And any of it help at all?
Massage made it so much worse. Acupuncture by the third visit was, he felt bad. It just the muscle tension would increase. No, nothing helped.
So when you finally did try myofascial release, what was that first experience like?
I was scared, really scared. By that point, I wasn't driving. My neighbors would drive me to appointments. I couldn't drive. It wasn't safe to drive. And I could barely walk down the hall. I was really slow. We call it like a turtle moving through peanut butter. What my kids described it as. I was a turtle moving through peanut butter. I didn't know what to expect. I was scared.
And then the experience of the treatment and the results.
For me, it took a long time to find a way to feel safe there. So a lot of those initial treatments, I was really light touch, a lot of cranial work, a lot of neck work, and a lot of just blackness with light touch. I hurt. Touch hurt. So
But there was something about it that kept you coming back.
there was. I didn't have any other options. I tried everything else. Yeah, there was. And it was mostly I didn't have any other options, and something seemed to be helping in a way I couldn't describe. I go home exhausted, sleep. I think I trusted him.
Okay. Yeah, so now looking back, might you be able to describe what it was that seemed to be helping?
I don't know that I have an answer to that. I started reading as much as I could. After that first visit, I started reading all I could about myofascial release. And I think that probably helped as much as anything. I found things that described how I felt. Found things that described hope. I think that's what made a difference. I started reading all I could.
And you were having an effect with being treated.
Yeah, it took a while. I think the dizziness is what left first. It took a while. But I could, if I looked back, I could see changes. And that was helpful.
Yeah. Okay. What was your understanding of myofascial release, what it would do for you before you started?
No clue.
No clue.
No clue.
That's so typical.
No, didn't know what it was. Yeah, no
Right,
clue. It was
right.
try this.
So now that you've experienced it, if somebody were, a friend or family member had pain, what would you tell them about it? What about the therapy, about the therapist?
I've tried to explain that a few times.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to explain in a way that people can understand. Technical definition is gentle, sustained pressure over a period of time into an area of restriction, which doesn't help anyone understand really what it is.
Mm-hmm.
The best definition, and my mom's probably the best example of someone to share that with, because she does come from the medical side of things, is that this is really effective at getting things moving that don't want to move. It's not forceful. It's not a forceful way of trying to make things change and move. I don't know. It's hard to describe.
But it's effective.
It's the most effective thing I know.
And of all the things you've enjoyed about coming to see me, think hard. What was the thing you've liked the best?
You said I could say anything.
Yeah.
Having seen other therapists, being honest, you annoy me. You annoy me in ways that other people won't, in ways that are effective. You irritate the heck out of me.
Uh-huh.
In a way that's helpful.
In a way that's helpful. And to poke at that a little bit more,
Yeah.
what's been helpful about that? Why is that needed?
Because I like to hide. Because I like to pretend things don't hurt. I've liked to hide and pretend things don't hurt. You don't let me do that. You aren't afraid of the stuff inside me, which has been helpful. And I suppose that's probably because you've been there in some way.
Yeah.
And you understand, which is nice.
Okay. And what would you say to anyone viewing this, listening to this, who is currently skeptical about a myofascial release or undecided?
Just do it.
Yeah.
Just try it. You don't have anything to lose. If you already hurt, you don't have anything to lose.
And waiting certainly doesn't help.
Waiting doesn't help anything. Yeah, waiting doesn't help. Yeah.
So what was your number one goal out of therapy, and have we helped you achieve it?
I don't actually remember what the goal is. It was probably something along the lines of not have a headache anymore. I know I'd like to run again. I'd like to get back to running, which I probably could if I really wanted to. I'm not sure I really want to right now. Headache's gone. The headache doesn't. That's all gone. Those original problems are gone.
So what's kept you coming?
There are other things that hurt, and at some point, well, you still said I could say anything. At some point, I realized it's not just about physical problems. There's so much other stuff inside that causes pain, and this gets to those too.
Cool. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.